On January 24th, 2018, at the age of 71 years old, we lost Jack Ketchum, author of Red, The Woman, and The Girl Next Door, among many other great horror thriller novels. Born Dallas William Meyer on November 10th, 1946, Jack was born in Livingston, New Jersey, as the only child of two parents. He earned a bachelor's degree in English from Emerson College in Boston, Massachusetts, and later taught at the high school level in Brookline, Massachusetts for 2 years. Jack won the Bram Stoker Award for his short story, The Box. Many of his stories were turned into actual live-action movies. The Lost, The Girl Next Door, Red, Offspring, The Woman, and The Box was turned into a short segment in Double X. Jack Ketchum was probably one of the most frequent guests on my radio show, Dr. Chris's Radio of Horror. When I started the show back in October of 2007, Jack was one of the first celebrities that I really got to know at the horror convention in Worcester, Massachusetts, known as Rock and Shock, and he had come on the show the following year, and had been on the show almost every other year since then. In 2016, I was able to have Jack here in the studio with me in Worcester for a long conversation about his recovery of cancer with my friend Cordelia, and we talked about what he was working on next, as well as it being an anniversary for The Girl Next Door. When Jack was on the show several times, he talked about his times as a literary agent and his love of Elvis Presley, as well as old Universal monster movies such as The Hunchback of Notre Dame and The Phantom of the Opera. One of the most interesting stories that really inspired him to become a writer is when he befriended Robert Bloch, the author of Psycho, and it inspired Jack to want to become a writer himself. He had been a literary agent for years until he had his first story published, Off Season, in 1981. But it was The Girl Next Door in 1989 that really blew up his stardom as a horror author. It was in the mid-2000s when his novels were starting to be turned into films. Whenever Jack was at the Rock and Shock Horror Convention in Worcester, I would watch his table for him, and he would always have the equivalent of an entire bar hidden underneath his table. We weren't allowed to bring in alcohol from the outside into the DCU Center, especially at conventions, but Jack found a way, and he was always willing to share whenever I watched this table. He'd give me a cup, usually from 7-Eleven or McDonald's, and say, "Here, just put it in this." Oh, he was a lot of fun to hang around. I learned of Jack's passing on this past Wednesday, as most everyone else did, and it really hurt me deeply, as Jack had become a really good friend, and I'll miss him dearly. If you'd like to find more information about Dallas, Jack Ketchum, and his work, go to his website, jackketchum.com, to find a novel. Maybe go to your local bookstore and purchase one, or find one of his films on Amazon.